So hello, another business spotlight today, and today's guest is Andrew Cameron from FeelTect. Andrew, good morning, and you're very welcome.
All right, thanks very much, Tom.
So just to kick off, can you tell our listeners here, all the Action Code community, what the hell do you do? What is it you do, and how long have you been doing it?
Yeah, so we're a connected health company that is in the wound care space. We actually came through a program called BioInnovate Ireland, which is looking for unmet clinical needs. And we spent some time in Irish-based hospitals, and then we went over to the USA and spent some time in the Mayo Clinic. And we identified a need around venous leg ulcer treatment. So specifically looking at improving the compression therapy that venous leg ulcer patients receive to try and help heal their wounds a little bit better. And we have developed a wearable device for measuring and monitoring the pressure that's applied by the bandages during the compression therapy. And what that helps to do is ensure the correct amount of pressure being applied to the patient, but also helping to make sure that that pressure is maintained. So by checking outside the clinical setting, for example, and helping to reduce the burden on the healthcare system by having patients be more engaged with their own therapy. So that's kind of our intention. We started out in the university here in Galway back in 2018 after the BioInnovate program. Okay. We did a 2-year project, and then we started in the company full time from 2020.
So tell me, just so this is a device that you have IP in it, presumably, yes?
Yeah, that's it. So we developed some
and
IP.
Also,
yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So therefore, the patients themselves can monitor themselves, but also it's linked to their GP,
That's the intention, is that like, one day, when we sort of have this like fully operational in clinical settings, that the device will be able to send data firstly to the app, so the patient can see, what's the pressure being applied, or the nurse or their carer. But then that app is sending the data to a cloud database.
Yes, okay, now I get it.
From there, you now have the opportunity to have a remote dashboard, and it enables things such as like telemedicine consultations, where
big data, all that sort of stuff as well.
So that's it.
Long journey here. That's cool. That's very good. So I was going to say what your best customer is. I can understand somebody who's got a gammy leg or someone's got a problem, but it's the medical world and their clients, their patients.
That's it. So we would be sort of, rather than direct to consumer, more direct to the healthcare system, through payers such as like health insurers. But in terms of choosing the appropriate customer, it's very important for us to make sure that this goes into the right clinical setting. So for us, because these patients are seen over multiple care settings by multiple care providers, the ideal setting would be an integrated clinical service. So, where the hospital is connected to the community center, that's connected to the home healthcare agencies.
Yes.
And that then ensures that you sort of have a continuity of care across all of those different settings. And we provide a benefit to that organization as a whole.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Funny, my previous man I spoke to just before this could be of interest to have you to have a chat with. Remind me of that later on.
For sure.
So tell me, COVID came along, and the dirty C word, and it's been around for a couple of years. What were the 1 or 2 actions you had to take because of that pandemic?
Well, we had to up and leave our office, which was a big, I think that we started working from home, and that was a challenge in itself.
Yeah.
In terms of our business direction, like we had previously sort of had the technology targeted towards the nurses. So for example, having a nurse have a device that they would use on their individual patients. But what we came to realize over the pandemic, because patients were being forced to isolate and to self-manage these wounds, there was a huge opportunity here to have a patient-centric device and to sort of empower them to become more part of their healing journey. So we actually sort of transitioned to be having the device targeted at an individual patient. So each patient has their own device, and it kind of acts like a Fitbit for wound care.
Very good. Okay, this is interesting. I love this thing. So tell me, what's the biggest learning to date since you've been a business owner?
I guess I came from an academic background, and I had to change my thinking quite a bit about a lot of things. Like the BioInnovate program that I was on really helped to sort of push forward a notion of being needs-led in the innovation process as opposed to technology-led. So ensuring that the problem was actually well established before you even thought about having what the solution would be.
Yeah.
And then also just the, sometimes in academia, you need to be quite meticulous and you sort of go right into the fundamentals, whereas in business, it's fast paced. You got to make a decision. You go with that decision. If it works, great. If it doesn't, find something else. But
fail fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So tell me, Andrew, when you were growing up, is this what you always wanted to do?
I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I've sort of gone from, my background is in chemical engineering. I sort of had a stint in BP as an operations engineer there, and then realized I wasn't into the petrochemical side of things. I did a PhD in tissue engineering and thought I was going to be in academia, but when I did a postgraduate certificate in research commercialization, I really got bitten by the entrepreneurial bug, I suppose. And I've grown to really appreciate what that means, bringing a sort of an idea out to the wider society is an exciting thing.
But it's exciting. Yeah, exactly. That's not, if it isn't exciting, we won't do it. It's got to be exciting. So what are the biggest learnings that you got so far in business and in your life?
I guess trying to manage your time. I'm at the moment feels the candle is being burnt at both ends a little bit. So yeah, taking a little bit of time to spend with family or to spend on professional development is always a good thing. Not getting too caught up in the work side of things, but yeah, I think that every day for me is a new learning experience with regards to the entrepreneurial journey. I don't come from that background, so yeah, the further I go, the more I learn. And I just want to keep on keeping on. Excellent.
And because of the business I'm in, I need to ask you, who's been the best coach you've ever had, even if it hasn't been a kind of a paid coach or a mentor? Has it been a father, has it been a buddy, or?
Well, one of our co-founders, Gary Duffy, I've sort of been friends with him since I was back in the College of Surgeons, and I've always looked up to him and really glad to sort of have him on our team of founders. But yeah, he's always been somewhat of a mentor to me, and yeah, it's good to have people that you can kind of rely on for advice along the way.
Yeah, have a good team around you. So, Andrew, what does the future look like, and what the challenges you think you're going to face?
Yeah, anything and everything is going to be a challenge, I'd say. So it's hard to say. For us, we're trying to break into the market in the USA, so that's going to be a big issue for us. Coming up with ideas on reimbursement and how to sort of pursue a pretty complicated and fragmented market overseas will no doubt present a challenge. We want to build out our team right now, so getting good people on board in a market that is very competitive, for personnel resources.
Absolutely, everybody has got that challenge at this moment. Yeah.
So they're big things for us, and I think we're trying to get as much sort of advice and guidance along the way to overcome that. And people have done this before, so that gives us confidence, and we're trying to learn from them.
So as a young man, you're slightly younger than me, you might tell that, but
getting older.
Be careful. What would you say to anybody here, somebody of our younger listeners here? What advice would you give them if they were thinking of going into business?
I think that it's a matter of execution, giving something a go. You're never going to sit there and think of it and know exactly how to do it perfectly. It's stepping off the edge and just having a bit of faith that you can take a challenge on as it comes at you. I think that until you actually sort of make that first move forward, you'll never get anywhere.
Okay. And one last question here. What would be the best advice you'd give to an 18-year-old you?
Don't drink as much. But
Well, I think that would apply. Certainly, my sons. Goodness me, I used to do a lot, but I mean, they kill me.
no, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've kind of always sort of thought about like other career pathways and like, oh, what if I did medicine, and like what if I did carpentry, and like it's hard to say. I mean, any advice I gave to my 18-year-old self, that'd probably ignore. So like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that I'm happy where I'm at the moment, and yeah, there's a long way to go.
I think that's very honest. So tell me, for the listeners and viewers here today, are there any offers that you'd like us to include in the newsletter, or even how would they contact you? Where should they be looking to find out more
Yeah,
about you?
so we have a website like FeelTect.com. We're currently like pre-market, like we're going through our regulatory processes as right now. So in terms of the product, if anyone is interested in like learning more about what we do, yeah, please get in touch with me via email if that suits. And again, it's on our FeelTect website. And we are just opening up an investment round at the moment, so we're always happy to talk to investors.
Very good. Very good. Okay, Andrew, thank you so much for your time today. It's been great to chat to you. I think if we had more time, we could chat for another hour or two comfortably. But I hope everyone's enjoyed listening and learning from you today. And I look forward to talking to you again in the near future.
Thanks so much, Tom. Really
Many
appreciate
thanks.
it.